Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Never Settle podcast. He is 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion and first ballot NASCAR Hall of Famer. My brother from another, Jimmie Johnson. I'm Marty Smith from ESPN. So grateful to spend this time with you guys. We're going to start with show and tell.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Man, that is my high school. I was in Eagle, Granite Hills High School. This is the Athletic Hall of Fame induction trophy from 2007. Go Eagles.
I never knew you were in the Granite Hills East County Hall of Fame.
That's what this show's for, pal. We are sharing everything with the world. Did you know that I earned that trophy while wearing a Speedo?
Did you?
I was on the swim team and the water polo team.
Wow. I thought you might be a legacy play based on your incredible NASCAR career. And just so you guys
It actually
know,
was more that because I got booted because my professional car racing career had kicked off in high school sports or amateur sports. So as I got ready for league finals, junior year of high school for swim the breaststroke, I was approached by our swim coach. And she said, "Do you get paid to do that?" I said, "Well, I get the prize money." She goes, "You can't swim in finals. We can't risk somebody is, pursuing this and getting us thrown out."
breaking the law. All right, so I just realized, henceforth, it will no longer be first ballot NASCAR Hall of Famer. It will be Granite Hills High School Hall of Famer, Jimmie Johnson.
Go Eagles.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's time for clear high, clear low. We don't really have a lot of lows this week other than the fact that I had to take a red-eye flight. Brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. So grateful for them and their long-standing partnership. I'm so thankful to be a part of their family and that they've invested in Never Settle. We're going to start with clear high. I mean, just take the floor, Senator. You got a good one this week.
Yeah, I've got a great one this week. As you guys may have noticed, we're typically drinking bourbon. Today it's 8:30 a.m. as we're filming,
Yeah, it's
not
morning
p.m.,
time.
so water in the glass instead. But we're typically drinking Frank August bourbon, and we won Bourbon of the Year. And I am so proud of everybody at FA and the great journey that we've been on. Clearly a huge fan of our offerings, but in our case study category, we have now 4 different labels. We have the white label, the gold label, which is case study. We have a rye that's green, then we have our single barrel. Case study 5 won International Bourbon of the Year. And with a small little operation that we have and the love, heart, and soul that goes into it, cheers to everybody on an amazing
What
job.
have you learned from your partners on what exactly this means?
I think we're still grasping what it means, but their process of making sure it's all done right. From start to finish, marketing the bottle itself, the experience, the story, the build, the time it sits in the barrel, the process. They just are patient with the process and making the right decisions.
Jimmie was so humbled and freaking pumped when he found out about this. He sent me this article. This is from gearpatrol.com. Frank August's small batch Kentucky straight bourbon has just been named the best bourbon in the world at one of the most prestigious spirits competitions, the 2025 International Wine and Spirit Competition. For a brand still unknown to most bourbon drinkers, it's a massive achievement as well as a reminder of the key role barrel selection and blending can play in creating exceptional bourbon. Congratulations to you and your partners. So awesome. I'm glad that you own it because I like drinking it. And
in fact, we're going to bring Never Settle on the road here soon in October. We bottle in Bardstown, and we have a really neat offering that's going to come out in our case study 6. We're going to go there, participate in the bottling. Marty will be there drinking some brown water as well.
All of it.
We'll have Jonathan Crocker on, and we'll be able to talk about all these great accolades.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That's going to be a really fun trip. I can't wait to get up there. I love as a bourbon nerd, I love the process of learning about how all the different bourbons, like everybody has a different kind of process.
They do. It's wild.
And in what has become a diluted market in a lot of ways, it's a hell of a testament to you guys that you've achieved this and been acknowledged this way, it's certainly a beautiful validation.
Yeah. And again, back to the patience piece, it is a diluted market right now, and great. There's a lot of bourbon drinkers out there, and I'm happy to see that spirit have its moment. But the control that leadership of Frank August has had to keep this small, I think we're in 15 states now. I wish we were in North Carolina. We're not, sadly, but not yet. But I've seen it in the wild a few times. I go into bottle shops all the time and try to find it in states where I know we're sold. And just the intentionality behind it. I have so much pride in the brand and what we're doing.
Well, I'm proud of you. It's awesome. And that is not the only news in your life this week.
Correct.
We've also come to a resolution legally where Legacy Motor Club now has, through much litigation and drama in a lot of ways, achieved a third charter and will have a third NASCAR Cup Series team. I want to read from a great piece from our friend Kelly Crandall in Racer.com. 3 charters go to Legacy Motor Club next season, that's 2026, with Rick Ware Racing retaining 1 charter. RFK Racing, which is Brad Keselowski and Ryan Preece, their team, which has a tie to this situation, will also continue as usual. So ultimately, not much is expected to look different on the racetrack in 2026, but the resolution between Legacy Motor Club and Rick Ware Racing sets variables in motion for 2027 and beyond. So I have many questions. The first one is,
am I going to be interviewed?
Yes. Now it's journalist Marty and team owner Jimmie.
Perfect.
When will we see a third Legacy Motor Club Cup team on the racetrack?
A chartered Cup team will be in 27. There are contracts to honor which will all happen and take place. So there are some details to still resolve and ink, if you will, but all contracts will be honored. RFK will run their third charter, or have a third chartered car next year. I will be out in the 84 a few times next year. We're still trying to dial in my exact cadence and how many events I'll run in the 84, which will be unchartered. Come 2027, we will have 3 charters at Legacy.
What impact does this have on Legacy Motor Club? Why was it important for you and Nighthead to retain a third team?
There are many reasons. First and foremost, performance. With the limited data that we have, the limited ability to be on track and perform or to develop our product, 3 teams in action are way better than 2. I mean, it's 30% more. When you get into scales of economy and how to run a balanced program and a profitable program, that also plays into it. It's going to take time, but where NASCAR is heading and all the different variables that are in play and the optimism I have for our sport and the growth of it, and the difference I think Legacy will start to show next year as we really lean into other club elements and other experiential elements that are going to be offered through Legacy. Fans will have a much different experience and understanding, more touch points, and this third car brings more energy into all that, more optionality.
What happened? I recall this being done like a year ago or something.
Yeah.
They agreed to sell you guys this charter. It seemed like it was well on its way. I don't remember. It's foggy for me, but I swear it was even announced. And then all of a sudden it wasn't happening. So what happened?
It's a long story that clearly there's a disagreement. Both sides saw it differently. The crazy thing, and I think let's just keep that in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's going to be certain things that he can't answer because there's still some ongoing pieces of this.
That and it's not helpful, but I think what is really helpful for fans to understand is what took place last week. And September 17th, it's my birthday. I turned 50, officially old. I spent my birthday preparing for a deposition. And I'm not sure, have you gone through the legal process and been associated with it?
Nope, haven't, not interested, don't want to.
Had to spend my birthday preparing for the other side's legal counsel to question me on the process. So as I get prepared for that, we roll into the 18th, which was my deposition. And before the meeting started, which was 9 a.m. in a law office in downtown Charlotte, I get a text from Robbie Benton, the team president for Rickware Racing. And he suggests that maybe we forego the deposition and try to settle, which was music to my ears. And kudos to Robbie. And Robbie understanding and knowing me and a lot of people in my world, and also clearly on Rick's side. And he truly felt if Rick and I could sit in a room and just talk and express and vent and do all the things we need to do, that we would get to a place where we could settle. And thank you, Robbie Benton, for doing that. And
so wait a minute. You're sitting here telling me that after all those lawyers and all those hours and all that back and forth, it was actually decided by somebody shedding pride, looking at the broader scope and going, we're just going to litigate this thing until eternity if we don't just get
Absolutely.
Man, hey,
Absolutely.
Shout out to Robbie, who's a great dude, by the way.
100%. And then on both sides, I mean, the lawyers on their side, the lawyers on our side, all of us in a room, we had to scramble people and get people to drive in. This thing, we go back and forth. First we chat, and Rick expresses his side, I do mine. We get through that. We kind of go to our separate little rooms that they had for us. We convene again. We start moving the ball down the field. And now lawyers have arrived, and we literally wrote our settlement agreement throughout the course of the day, various points that had to be thought of and protected with the other partners that are, other players that are in the mix. And at 3:38 a.m. on the 19th, we put ink on paper and left.
How did that feel?
We were freaking exhausted.
What weight was lifted?
I didn't realize the weight lifted until I woke up the next morning after 2 hours of sleep to get Lydia off to school. And I was just like floating through the house. I mean, I had no idea the strain that had put on me mentally, physically, our team, the 9 months that we have spent, working through this. And of course, on their side, they're experiencing all this as well. And it is so nice to be in a place now where that's in the rearview mirror and we can go forward and both of us operate our businesses and worry about the stuff we need to worry about.
What should this tell race fans or the industry about the industry and about where it is with what a charter is and what a charter's worth? And
yeah,
like what should we learn from this?
They're valuable. I mean, there's no doubt. The thing that stands out to me the most is within this racing community, it is a small, fragile environment. And I am very happy and thankful that Robbie did what he did. Rick was open-minded. We were as well. We've come to this, this agreement, this settlement, and we can protect the fragile world that we're in and put positive spin back on the charters and the value of them and go racing.
Well, congratulations. We'll have
beyond stoked.
Yeah, 3 Legacy Motor Club teams, chartered teams, in 2026 and
27.
Oh, 2027, excuse
Correct.
me, in 2027.
So now we get a year to build, which is great. Get the right people in place, start really planning what Legacy will look like for 27.
I'm so glad that you do. You have a glow about you, Johnson.
I feel so good about it.
And speaking of a glow, one of our best friends, somebody that we both admire tremendously and have had a lot of fun with and learned so much from, is former New York Giant and St. Louis Ram.
That's right.
Jason Sehorn, and he is our guest this week on Never Settle. Let's bring in Jason. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah.
Love you, man. So great to see you.
Short notice.
Very short notice. I texted Jason yesterday at about 5:30 while I was floating in my pool at Laney's behest.
Which,
by the way,
what time did we start worrying about our guests for the show?
About 4:15. Laney goes, "Have you tried Sehorn?" I went, "I'm getting ready to." That's a great call. So thank you, man.
Thank
we love
you.
you. We've had so many wonderful memories together. But as you know, our podcast is called Never Settle. And I want to jump. You're one of those guys in our lives that has always lived that way. From the time we've both known you, you've had this never settle, go win experience mantra and ethos. Where was that born?
As a child being raised by a single mother with no father present, you realize very quickly the success of my life is going to depend on me. And if failure happens, it's going to be my fault. If success happens, it's going to be my fault. And we moved around a lot, and athletics and being an athlete was the only thing that sort of blended me into new schools or new environments, because people may not have appreciated, they still don't appreciate my directness, but that's fine. But they appreciated my athletic ability.
We do, very much.
But there's a lot of people who are not fans of my directness, and it's been that way my whole life. But when you play sports, like, and you're good, you're immediately welcomed, because you can do what they can do, or better, and they need you. And they're like, oh, okay, we can put up with the fact that he's a smart ass or whatever, because he can play. And so most of it was just a very self-aware, environment for myself that, hey, I got to make this happen.
Was that born out of what you just described through athletics, or more out of your family environment in nurturing your brother and like the other elements?
Family environment, 100%. So it frustrates me when I see the amount of single parent families out there and the kids just repeat the same damn thing. So I have a philosophy on people. It's like, if you saw something or experienced something in your childhood and you didn't like it, why in the hell are you repeating it? Why wouldn't you do something different? And a lot of people just repeat, well, it's what I know. What you know you didn't like. So you think your kid's gonna like it? Or like, don't repeat it. I had a history teacher tell me, history repeats itself because we don't learn from our mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from your parents' mistakes. You know what I mean? I had an absent father. I learned from that. I will not be that person. So my whole goal to my kids, I've got 4 daughters, is it's not about quality, it's about quantity. How much can I be a part of their life? Just be involved. I may be just a wreck when I'm there, but I'm gonna be there. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna see me. And that just grew out of not having a father and realizing I didn't like that. But mostly sports. Sports was really the one thing that sort of was the equalizer.
That speaks to who you are as an individual, and knowing you as well as Marty and I do. I think for you to take that step forward at such a young age and challenge that, like, history is not going to repeat itself here. That DNA, makes a lot of sense and carries through all of the things that you've accomplished personally and professionally, the things you're still interested in today. And one thing I wanted to also touch on is back to your early days of athletics, and you weren't sure which sport was the one for you.
So, I knew which one. It was basketball. Basketball is what I loved. And then I got old enough to realize that 6'3" in basketball is not exactly stellar. I don't care how good you are. Like, whew. And I didn't shoot the lights out like Steph Curry. So everything happened for a reason, and the way it happened. I didn't play football until my senior year of high school.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I played basketball all 4 years. Shoot, I never played baseball and played in the minor leagues. Some guy saw me playing for an American Legion team in the summer, and he was like, dude, big and fast, can't teach that. We'll teach you all the rest.
Well, were you a left fielder or
Center
something?
field.
Center field.
Yeah.
So you got the nickname Seabreeze.
Mm-hmm. So, you
Strahan's we just called him Seabreeze. You just do it all.
you do realize you can't teach athletics. There are very few overachievers. So people either can or they can't. It's like, you can put someone in a car and they may think they can drive, but you either can or you can't. You can't really teach somebody the intricacies and stuff. It's like, you got to figure it out.
All right, I got 2 comments. I got a comment first that I want your perspective on, and then I want to follow up with a question. The beauty of football, and so in sport in general, team sport in general, but specifically football, because it's the ultimate team experience other than the military. All of the socio-political lines that divide us in our daily walk, whether that's right, left, whether that's race, religion, creed, whatever those are that are decided by society, are erased when you step between the lines of a football field. because if your brother doesn't do his job, you can't do your job. How did that manifest itself for you? Because you're talking about how athletics was the vehicle for you.
So I'll give you two very good stories about that. Needing everybody to be on the same page and being able to block out the noise from the outside. The first is I was a white corner in a room full of black guys. And so I didn't see eye to eye with a lot of people on a lot of things. Politics, you know, the way we were raised. Even if we were both raised by single parents, I saw it differently than they saw it. My life was different than theirs. And, you know, we got along, but we weren't tight. And for no other reason than our backgrounds didn't really blend. And it's when you're in a room and you don't agree with somebody on a daily basis, I'm not going to be friends or like tight with somebody that I don't agree with on how you live your life, the things you do. But when you go compete and you realize that your job is competing, you know, above all else in sports, it's not winning or losing, it's competing. And once you learn how to compete and once you learn what the game is, then there's like this, I don't know, brotherhood of like, okay, we respect that part of it.
That is the word. And that is what happens. That is the beauty of shared sacrifice. The brotherhood that comes from, we may not be the same people outside of this facility, this locker room, certainly this playing surface. But by God, when we strap up and there's somebody else wearing another color jersey, we are that brotherhood that wants to end them. And that is so beautiful. And I miss it. You know, I'm one of those guys that you talk about people not being overachievers. I'm in that category. And I have always been in that category in most every context in my life, whether that's athletics, whether that's my professional life right now, whether it's the beautiful woman I married, way the hell over my skis, all of that. But I want to hop back quickly to your direct approach to living
Everything.
and speaking.
Everything.
As you were developing as a young man, to what degree was that a defense mechanism?
No, it wasn't a defense mechanism. It was my mom telling me, you need to have an opinion. You need to have an understanding of why you do what you do. Don't ever go with the flow. Don't ever be the person that says, oh, all these people are doing it. Sure, you know, you've heard the stupid thing. If they jump off a bridge, you jump off the bridge. Well, if I want to, I am. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to do it just because they did it. And so understanding why you do the things you do creates a directness in your approach to people. And I feel, I want to know where you guys stand. So don't sugarcoat it. Tell me what you think. I do not like the person that's like, well, you know, no, you're just afraid or embarrassed or don't want to ruffle feathers, where I'm not concerned about ruffling feathers. I just think it's best if we all know where we stand.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you were talking about that first conversation, and it reminded me the brotherhood and like the team aspect of football is the only thing where 11 people have to be on the same page. And it reminded me of a story. My rookie year, I didn't play a single snap of defense the entire year, not one snap. I was a second-round draft pick, didn't see the field on defense. And I remember asking Mike Nolan, who was our defensive coordinator, what do I need to do? Like, I don't understand. Like, I am bigger, I'm faster than that dude, I'm blah, blah, blah. And he says, yeah, but I don't know where you're going to be. So if you make a mistake, you make a really big mistake. And there are 10 other people relying on you to do your job. And if one person doesn't have this gap, doesn't have the edge, doesn't do that, it's a home run for them. And I don't know where you're going to be, or if you're going to make a mistake and run fast the wrong way. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's mental. I got to figure out this mental game and really know. And I didn't do that. In fairness, I was just relying on my athletic ability. But the game is so fast that you have to know where you're going with that speed, and I didn't.
What's standing out to me, and this is obvious, but the way team sports shape us and who we are and how we exist in real life, it's just spectacular to see all the touch points. And as you guys are speaking, I'm thinking about athletes that are more in a solo sport, individual sport.
Tennis, golf, racing.
And you see these personality traits, but team sport at a young age really is such a powerful tool for life.
Oh, no question about it, because you learn how to be selfless for the greater good. You learn how to work in an environment where there's a bunch of different talent levels, a bunch of different opinions.
You get a lot of hard lessons through
You-
all of that
you-
at a young age and develop.
You do.
The most important thing you learn above all else is how to deal with people who aren't like you.
Yep.
And that's the problem I think we're facing in this environment in our country today is accepting people who differ than you. I don't know why it has to be antagonistic. Why can't we just disagree?
Right.
And when you're playing a sport, you learn to deal with people's personalities that aren't like yours, but you have a common goal. The common goal is we're going to win. So I don't know what the common goal is in life, but it's maybe to
Be
just
kind.
live longer.
Live longer, be kind.
It is. It's so true. And the importance of having conversations that you don't agree with each
Yep.
other, where you can maybe enlighten one another with an opinion that they hadn't considered, is ever present now and really important. And as you you talking about being the only white dude in the position room. What came with that only you know, that Cooper DeJean's going through right now?
What comes with it is a lot of fun because there's two things. I could say and do a lot of things in that room with those people that if we took those same exact people and put us in New York in a club, I couldn't say or do any. Like they were not cool with me saying what I said, someplace else. So I think there's a lot of back and forth between both of us. Trust me, I took a whole lot more than I gave. It was 10-1. So, but it was still, I had a blast. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing like sports. There's nothing like showing up day in and day out to a job where all you got to do is run around, be an athlete, jump, catch, run, hit people. Yeah.
What do you think of the word resilience?
I think the continuation. Like resilience means you just keep going. It's nonstop. It's such a repetitive business. So every Monday's the same. Every Tuesday's a day off. Every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are the same. Saturday's the same. Sunday's the same. You do that for 18 weeks. It's identical every single week. It just revolves. And so if you don't have resilience and you have a tough game, you have a loss, you have a couple losses. I'm looking at teams right now that are 0-3. Like you've got to have some resilience because you got 15 to go, right? They play 17 now or 18? I don't remember.
I think 17 and working on 18.
They got a long way to go. So you better have some resilience. And I think that's what makes that's a separation factor for people because some people don't have it. Some people do not have resilience. They just shell, crawl in, fold up.
I know some people don't have it. What I'm learning is some people almost get miffed by the word. And I was curious about your opinion of it. And it sounds positive.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would assume that personally and professionally, you've been challenged and have needed resilience time and time again.
Resilience is your ability to overcome. Like if you don't have resilience, how are you going to overcome something? How are you going to, how do you keep doing the same thing that you're failing at if you don't have resilience? You just give up. So it's like you've got to strive to change your path or approach to whatever you're doing or work harder, but you don't just throw up your hands in the air and go, well, I guess that's all that is.
But the thing I've been trying to wrap my head around is the word resilience. I've been in some conversations recently where it's maybe thought of as a cop.
Yeah, well, then those people are going to fail.
I know, and I just...
That's my opinion on it. I think the person who, if anything comes across as tough or difficult or whatever, and they give you pushback on it, you're just not a very strong-minded person. And we have so many words today.
I know.
People are like, you can't say that. I'm like, bullshit, I can't say that. I can't, what? I mean, I can say whatever I want to say. It's America. Now, I will say this. There's some consequences to what you say sometimes. So understand that. But it's like, what? You just outlawed that word too? No. Yeah. But resilience is, in athletics, you better have some resilience because it's not always going to go good.
Freedom of speech and freedom of responsibility are
Two different
not
things.
the same thing.
Well said.
And so when you have a platform, you can say whatever you want, but that doesn't mean there aren't consequences sometimes.
Correct.
I'm intrigued by you saying that some people are telling you that the word resilience has a negative connotation. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
So-
it's...
It's a snowflake.
I don't understand that,
snowflake, this
because
generation's-
resilience, to Jason's point, is I have failed. I'm not good enough. I know that I have to evolve. I know that I have to self-analyze in the effort to become better. That to me is all enveloped in what resilience is. So what?
I agree. And my point of view in the discussions have been around resilience is a response to a challenge, and you are working through. And so for me, I've been scratching my head on it. But as described and in the debate over some, with brown water in hand, which is always a great thing, and I hate that we're recording early.
Which normally that's what you would have in your hand if we were doing this at 8:30 p.m. instead of 8:30 a.m.
Understood. Straight Scotch is, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
The conversation around having an out, that it's a nice word to put on something without any meaning behind it. And I'm like, I don't know. I could see the lane that was being described, although I didn't agree with it, and felt that resilience is much more of a reaction to a challenging time and your process of getting through it. So again, I've been much more in favor of it.
Yeah, but this might be too deep for this conversation, but do we have a generation of kids who were grown up playing sports that didn't have wins and losses? They just played. So how do you tell that kid to be resilient when it wasn't ever about wins and losses? It was just about just showing up. We're all gonna have a good time. It's like, no, that is not sports.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
a really
about that
interesting
too. There's
point I hadn't thought
A
of.
little deviation in headspace.
Yeah, it's how you're raised. It's what you were brought up in, and we've moved away from it now. We don't do that anymore, because I have a 5-year-old and she plays soccer, and they don't have a scoreboard, but the kids know who won. Even at 5, they know who won that game. And so this last week, I think we got to be like 5-2. And they said, did we win that one? I was like, well, how many goals did they score? Did they score more than us? Yes, they did. They won. We lost. Okay? Now, let's go have our juice. Come back next week. Play better.
Try again.
I remember a couple of times when one of my daughters was really dejected about a specific competition in dance. And I have said to my kids so many times they want to throw up, that you lose a lot more than you win in this life. So what do you do with that loss?
Yeah.
You repurpose failure as fuel to have resilience, to find a better you. Don't whine about it. You can hate it, because I hate it.
That's the fuel.
Yeah.
But it has to become constructive, and it has to become something that you use to better yourself for the next time. And I never thought of that. You're right. There's a whole lot of participation fatigue.
Yep. I have one of my daughters who I had to harness that for her when she first started playing sports. Her anger to losing was to blame everybody for all the stuff that went on wrong. And it's like, I was like, okay. Look inward now, because you were out there too. So start with you first. And yes, there are mistakes made, some more glaring than others, but it's a team sport. And that's not how you play the team sport. You don't point the fingers. You say, how do we get better? How do we as a collective work to get better than what we put forth today? Not you, and you need to do better. No, this is a team. They already know that. The coach already knows that. But as the leader of a team, the leader doesn't do that. The leader doesn't walk around pointing fingers. The leader's like, hey, I'm going to lead this team. I'm going to make the example of how we're going to approach this. And that's difficult for kids because they see the person who made the mistake. So it's not an overnight adjustment. I promise you that.
No, it's your walk still today. I mean, you're now in the business world, accomplishing many things far and wide that those skills from being a high school athlete to professional athlete, that teamwork we've been talking about is transitioned into. Talk a bit about your daily journey now and what you're doing and mentorship and leadership you're leaning into.
Teams, like, it's different. It's like teams in athletics were great because everybody had a role, a very defined role, right? You're this position, you're that position, you do this, you do that, and everybody understands that. Teams in life and in business, they're not quite as defined. They meld and mold, and you take input like, I would never take input from a defensive lineman on what to do in my position. But now, so working for Mr. H and doing all of his internal communications.
What is your title?
Director of communications.
Oh, at one point you had a really interesting one. Wasn't it like internal?
Oh, internal communications?
Of external?
Well, no, that was them being funny.
Okay. I thought it was hilarious, so it was a joke.
That was them being funny. Mostly because I'm the least communicative person that, well, I know.
It's like internal communicator of external communications or something was his title.
But you have a team of people, we call it Hendrick University, and there's about 10, and I've got to take input from people on my job, which is kind of difficult because I already know how to do my job. That's why you hired me, and I'm the one who's behind or in front of the camera talking. But as I grow, I realize there are other opinions that are better than mine. And that's hard to admit, that my way is not the highway, and so you get there into a team aspect where you're now taking advice. So I will throw it out there. All right, here's how I think it should go. Do you think that's the best route? And remember, I'm a voice of one that isn't really concerned with what everybody thinks. So it's best to hear from my team on, I don't know if that's the right approach. Okay, what approach should we take? Yeah.
What was the evolution process for you to suppress your pride and listen to it?
Realizing that I don't understand the masses as well as I thought I did. I understand the sports fan and what they want to hear, but there's 11,000 teammates at Hendrick Automotive in 14 different states. I mean, from porters to general managers and everything in between. And I don't understand the personality of all these people and how they want to be spoken to. And they do not all want to be spoken to like a coach talking to somebody. You know what I mean? They're not all looking for the same thing. Some people want to be lifted up. Some people want to be pushed along. Some people need to, crack the whip. Like there's a lot of different approaches. And so you kind of got to blend it all in, and you can't have one approach. And so I realized I don't know what's best for 11,000 people. So let's pool our information amongst the group of people that are in charge of Hendrick University and come up with the best plan of attack in disseminating this and giving it back to them.
Interesting.
Yeah, you have to come to a point that you don't know it all. And that honestly was really easy to come to, because I'm well aware I don't know it all. But I will speak like I do if you let me.
Conviction and confidence.
Man, if you don't put the reins on, I'm going. That way every time. You got to speak with conviction. You shouldn't go into anything kind of going wishy-washy.
Well, yeah, you got to study. You have to take that temperature, and then you have to have a plan where you can stand in front of all of those people with authority and self-confidence to share with them whatever that mission, whatever that goal sheet says.
And in that's when I need to take the input of the people around me, because as a collective, we're smarter than just me.
To get an executable plan.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm trying to help some of our young leaders with inside the race team is to externally, to the larger groups and to their departments, finish statements with a period, not a question mark. It's a big difference in how that's heard, how that's received, and we need more periods and question marks.
Well, if you're in a leadership position, you need to lead. You don't need to guide, you need to lead. So you have to make sure that the direction is set. Like you said, I'm saying this definitively with a period at the end of it, and that's how we're going to go.
Yeah.
And you also, I think, as a leader, need to course correct, because sometimes you're not right. And I think this is where leaders who fail struggle the most, is when it comes time to course correct, they don't course correct, or they do it too slowly and it's too late. You have to be able to look internally and go, that was not the right approach. Change the approach. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, because they're like, well, that was my idea. That's the path I took this team down. It's not working. But we're going to just keep shoving this square peg in this round hole until it works. No, just admit you're wrong.
Yeah, the period means this is where we're going now, because you need clear direction. It doesn't mean that my door's not open for feedback and input and we'll course correct. This period is showing confidence in I'm going to lead this department, and that I also trust if there are other opinions, you're going to come in and share them. So we have to work as a team. Yeah.
But that's also on the leader to make sure his team realizes that they can come to him or her and speak. Because there are some people, the door's not open. They say it's open. My door's always open. It is not open.
It reminds me, everything you're saying is so fulfilling for me, because when I wrote Sideline CEO, I interviewed all these coaches with all these championships, 55 championships combined. And I was talking to Kirby about delegation, because delegation is imperative. You hire somebody because they're capable in your eyes of doing a job, and then you let them do the job, because delegation is self-confidence. Micromanagement is insecurity. And Kirby told me I didn't win a national championship until I was actually willing to delegate and not micromanage.
You know, it's amazing. So I interviewed Pete Carroll 20 years ago.
Go Raiders.
And yeah, he was at SC then. But anyway, and I asked him at the time, every single year he would get a coach poached to be a head coach someplace. And I said, does it bother you that they just keep coming and taking your guys that you've developed and you've gotten to this point where you guys are rolling and like, oh, I want him and I want him. He's like, no, I want every single coach that I hire to want my job. He goes, if they don't want my job, I don't want them. I don't want anybody that wants to be a wide receiver coach always, that only wants to be a coordinator. And I didn't have that. You know, I love Dan Reeves. Dan Reeves didn't hire those kind of people. He didn't hire people that buck the system. He hired people that kind of like, this is my system. Let's go along with this system. And he was successful, but it's like, it was very different. They were not talking back to him. Coach Fox had people that talked back to him. Jim Fossil had people that talked back to him. Both Sean Payton and John Fox were the offensive and defensive coordinators, and they talked back a lot. And they're great head coaches. Sean's still a head coach. You need people, or you need, as the leader, you need to empower people.
Yeah, and self-confidence to receive what's being said.
Yep.
What have you learned in this journey about the power of trust?
Oh. I don't trust too much.
Opening up a door here.
But yeah, I don't trust a whole lot. I think it goes back to the...
It's almost as if he asked you about a hug.
Man, that's funny. I see where you went with that. I'm not going to say I have a tremendous amount of trust, but I will go back to what I said, is that you have to respect other people's opinions. Like, I'm not the end all. Listen, in my life I am. Like, in the decisions that I make for me, I'm very confident in the path that I'm on. Okay? But in areas where I need to rely on other people, I need to rely on other people. I need to trust that they know more than me, or they have a better way than I do. Otherwise, I'd just operate in a silo all the time. You know, and I don't think that's the best way to do it. I
just think it's the most important thing.
You got to trust that. So if I open up the conversation to go, okay, what do you guys think is the best way to deliver this message? Then I then have to receive it. I can't just let them talk and put up a wall. I then have to receive the information that they're giving and go, all right, that's different than mine, but I trust you guys to know what the hell you're talking about, so let's go with that.
What coach did you trust the most?
John Fox.
Okay, why? What was it about Foxy that, because you're a hard SOB to win.
So
you're not an easy guy to just show up and be giving bro hugs and what's up, homie, and all. Like, it took me a long time to get to that place.
He's twitching.
I'm like, See,
I do it now just to make him very uncomfortable.
I got a big long hug when I saw him. I hadn't seen him in a
couple years.
So, like,
but I mean, even like friends, like couple friends, when they show up now, know I'm not going to give you a hug every time I see you. It's been a couple weeks. It's only been a couple weeks. Like, we don't need a hug. That's just my personality, but that's okay. The thing that I respected the most about Coach Fox was I felt like he explained what needed to be done, and if I had dissent or question, he would listen and then explain again. Because I will never coach because I don't want to deal with a person like myself. I wasn't easy. You know what I mean? I had a lot of questions, because if you're going to put me out there, why am I doing this? Like, what's the reason? Why do you want me to go that way? Why do I have to be outside technique? I feel better being inside technique. And he would empower you and let you go play. And you know what he said? If you want to do it differently and you feel it's better for you to do it another way, feel free. If you fail doing it that way, you're not going to play. I will let you do something different than what I'm teaching if it works for you. However, if it doesn't work your way, you won't be there very long. All right. I feel as though what you're telling me isn't best for me, so I'm going to do it my way. And he would be perfectly fine with you doing it your way so long as you won.
How often was he right?
80% of the time. Yeah. There was a couple things that I just felt better doing it. Like I like being on the outside of a fade route. I like having the sideline behind me because I feel quarterbacks do such a good job of dropping the ball to the sideline and the receiver does this that I want to be over there. Quarterbacks do not want to throw the ball to the inside because there's a safety in the middle. You know what I mean? So like they want to throw it away, and I'm like, let me be on the outside. And there's a great interception I had against the Vikings in a playoff game. Chris Carter was running a fade down the sideline, and I got on the outside of him. And you just see the ball better like this. You see it like a receiver. Whereas the other way, you're turning around, you're trying to catch it over here somewhere, like it just pops in.
You're trying to keep, this is not even going to make the podcast, but I'm a football nerd. On the outside, you have to think about, like, they're going to have inside leverage on you to go high point the football, but you can keep an eye on the football and you can feel them better this way than you can when you're inside of them trying to feel them this way and keep the football in your, like, it's
no, because the quarterback always throws that thing out.
I understand your method,
yeah,
which is interesting because it is unorthodox.
Yeah, but
nobody plays the football that way anymore.
Listen, you're going to get eaten alive if they run a dig route.
Yep, you are.
If they run a 12, 15-yard dig route,
you got no chance.
Oh, man, he throws that ball just right here, you can't get to it. But I wasn't worried about the dig route. You were worried about the fade, the big play, the one down the sideline. That's the one I didn't want to give up.
How did you, as you've made your way through, we have to be protective of our time. It's our most precious resource. What advice do you have for people who are Uber driven and maintain? There is no work-life balance for Uber driven people. That doesn't exist. But what's your advice to people who want to try to have some sort of balance and presence with their family and their friends, while also being elite professionally?
You need to be able to cut out and disregard the things that aren't important. So there's a lot of things in our life that come to us. There's only a few things we really want to do. And the rest of it we could do, maybe we should do, but we don't have to do. And I do a very good job of eliminating all the things that I don't want to do. And I'm not worried about the consequence. I'm not worried about missing out. I focus on the things that I want to do. If I'm going to take time away from my family, like I didn't do college football or games after I retired because I couldn't see with 3 little kids being gone every weekend. It was hard. It's hard.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's been
and
my
so
whole
like
life.
That for me, listen, I grew up without a father. I just wasn't going to be that. I said earlier, it wasn't about quality, it was about quantity. I'm just going to be there. So as you go through your life, learn to eliminate or disregard the things that aren't important in friendships, in business, in acquaintances, in things you do. If it's not important, let it go. If you do it, but it's like, it ain't that big a deal. It's the important things that you want to dedicate your time to. If you're going to put forth an effort, make sure you really want to do this. Don't just
this is
do something
interesting.
To do it.
I want to hear your perspective on this too, both of you. One of the things, I used to work with Jalen Rose.
Okay.
Obviously,
Fab Five.
13, 14-year NBA career, very successful broadcast career for a long time. And Jalen said something to me one time that stopped time for me, and that was every single person that enters your life either adds, subtracts, multiplies, or divides. I mean, I just kind of like went, oh, wow. I want people in my life, especially now, the older I get, the less time I have for bullshit drama. I want people that add and multiply to my life. And what's that meant? That's meant I've had to dissociate. What's been your both of your experience of how you've had to do that because maybe that person isn't fulfilling you. Maybe that person isn't helping grow you in a positive forward momentum.
Yeah, without a doubt, and that's a great way to put it. I've thought of it in a similar way, and actually, he's the one that's put it in my mind years ago, which is you're either relationships are either growing or dying, and it's pretty simple. You put the energy and time in, and it grows, or it's going the other direction. So, in theory, I've completely understood and have subscribed to this, and have been challenged with it, like any and all are. I think some interesting kind of twists in the road have been around, you get engaged, you get married, you start a family, your work life. There are these more visible kind of turns that kind of define all that, and I've been trying to navigate them just like anyone else does, and I don't have an answer other than it's a tough challenge, and the older I get, the easier it is to defend my space, defend the things that are most important to me, and feel less guilty about the other areas. Because just the way I'm wired, I have guilt feeling that I'm not able to stay in relationships like I would want to. And here's probably a great example of it. You moved here in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
He and his family came and spent time with us, and Charlotte's where they wanted to move. They wanted to get out of LA.
I'm like, I've got friends. We'll hang out.
He shows up. I'm not available. I'm busy as can be. I feel, I hate that about that window of time in life.
Then you had kids.
And all these layers keep coming on. But thankfully, we have a friendship where it's like we could be away literally for 2 years, and you come back like it's nothing's changed. So having confidence in those deep relationships that don't need as much water as others. I guess there's maybe something in that, kind of knowing who that core group is and how to trust.
It's probably because it's rooted.
It's rooted in something. But you said, like, you sent a text yesterday. You're like, hey, listen, can you do this? It's you. And you, yeah.
I mean.
And I've gotten others that are like, hey, can you? No, I can't. Or I just let it go. Because you make time for the things that are important to you, and you don't for the things that aren't.
Yep.
Or that's how you should do it. And I don't have any problem in disregarding or moving on or brushing off things that aren't important. And to your point, you just hit 50, and your give a shit meter shrinks. Your give a shit meter shrinks, whatever you want to call it. Your filter, it all just starts to shrink. The older you get, and you just, I don't have time for this. Doesn't mean anything. Not important. And that's something, as a 20-year-old, you have a very difficult time eliminating anything from your life. You probably shouldn't eliminate anything in your 20s. You should open your horizons to everything to really see what you do and don't like. As you get older, you should know exactly what you do and don't like and start eliminating stuff.
Yeah.
We got to let you run. But just so y'all know, this is only part one, because you have to come back here when we can have bourbon and we can talk about Leadville, Burning Man, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But before we let you run, as you look back over your life, what was the never settle moment when you could have said, I'm good, I'm not going to do that, but damn it, I need to do this to grow and be the man I'm supposed to become?
Don't know if it was to be the man I was supposed to be, but it defined my success in all of athletics, and it was, I got a scholarship to USC. I was a JC All-American. I set the record for all-purpose yards in a season for wide receiver. And I go to USC as a wide receiver. And I get there in the very first day of training camp. I'm in the wide receiver line, and I'm catching balls. And after practice, Larry Smith comes up to me and he goes, hey, listen, would you be willing to move to defense and play defense? And my initial reaction was like, hell no. Yeah. I've never stepped foot on the defensive side of a football field. I've only played football at this point for 3 years, all as a wide receiver. No. And it was explained to me, he's like, listen, you're going to play, but the two starting wide receivers are Johnny Morton and Curtis Conway. And just for people who aren't aware, Johnny Morton was the number 21 pick in the draft, and Curtis was like the number 8 pick in the draft. And it was a hard decision to make at first, and it was like, okay, I'll try that. showed up the very next day, call it Tuesday, on defense.
And
with-
you're covering Johnny Morton
and Curtis Conway with no clue as to what I'm doing. Like, I don't know angles. We play UNC in the kickoff classic at Anaheim Stadium. They run the option play, and I'm told to take the pitch man. And every time they come out there, I'm hitting the quarterback in the face like this. And we get the sideline, and there's a dude just running down the sideline, and they're like, "The pitch man." And I'm like, "I got the pitch man. I'm squaring him up every time." And he's like, "No, the pitch man's the guy who gets the ball."
You stay there.
And I was like, "What?
Oh,
Wait, the pitch man's not the pitch man?" What? No one defined it because they just assumed I'd like. And I'm in the meeting room going, "All right, got the pitch man. Okay, I got him." So I think that the ability for you to see the truth in your life is very, very important, because the path that you want to be on isn't always the path you're supposed to be on.
so well said. I got a million things to say, but we've been talking for 45 minutes. Can you believe this?
Yeah.
Love you so much. Thanks so much for joining us and for your spirit and for always being
Absolutely.
so loyal to both of us.
That's what
And
friendships are.
I'm pretty sure you still owe me a driver. We'll talk about that in part 2 too,
So much
Possibly.
more.
when we get a
I
couple
think we
brown,
passed the statute of limitations for that, by the
couple
way.
brown waters in us. Thank you guys so much too for being loyal and consuming Never Settle. We're growing this thing. There's a lot of big things coming for us. Thank y'all. Have an awesome week. Peace.